Hello, welcome to my bedroom. My name is Dags. I look a little bit crazy right now. I know. I need to trim my bangs. It's like, sorry, I just got a block of hair sitting on my scalp. Um, but anyways, I'm here to give you some life advice. Not because I have any valuable advice to offer, but because I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking thoughts as I do, and I just felt like ASMR isn't the right outlet to expel these thoughts. It's just like, what the fuck? What the hell? Anyways, so yeah, I'm honestly not even sure if the things that I want to share are like if they can be counted as life advice. Because to be honest, they're just kind of common sense realizations, and it's possible that I just learned these things late in life. You know what I mean? But anyways, okay, tip number one or advice number one. And again, I'm not gonna pressure you to follow any of these pieces of advice because I understand that I'm not the smartest person out there. I'm not old or wise. I'm just like I'm just a freaking 20-year-old uni student who's been through shit. So yeah, uh, advice number one is right. Okay, right now, please don't click away. I know that sounds really boring and like basic and stuff, but when I say write, I'm not expecting you to make a full length feature novel or anything like that. I'm not expecting you to conjure up some kind of intricate manifesto or publish some kind of scientific study. When I say write, I mean just like write your thoughts down, you know? I feel like a lot of times we have good thoughts, we have valuable thoughts, even if they're not concrete thoughts that other people would understand. They're things that we as individuals will understand, like a little inside joke between you and yourself. Does that make sense? But yeah, also not just thoughts, but also questions. You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing, but a lot of times I get like random questions in my head, and I don't look for the answer right away. Either I'm busy or I just don't feel like looking it up. I just write them down. I have a note in my phone and it's titled thoughts, and it's just like a bunch of random thoughts. Some of them is like learn the guitar solo of yada yada. And then I'm pretty sure I have another one. I have another thought there that's like it's so weird thinking about how I'm 20 now and wait, pause, rewind. I have a thought in that thoughts note that goes something like it's so weird being 20 because that means 23-year-olds can be friends with me. It's something like that. And it's like it sounds stupid, but like you understand what you meant by that. And I don't know, I feel like it's very, I can't even say therapeutic. It just feels healthy. You know what I mean? Like drinking water when you're thirsty. It feels like that. And it's just really nice to look back on your thoughts. And sometimes I'm not even gonna lie, sometimes I would go back on my thoughts, like the things that I write down. I wouldn't understand what I'm saying. It's like what was going on when I wrote this? But it's like it's amusing at least, right? And in other cases, sometimes I would write down ideas for some kind of artistic project that I want to start. And then it just stays there, just like marinating in my notebook, in my journal. And then a while later, I'm going to go back to it and I'll be like, oh my God, my artistic project. And then I'm like, I can start this now, you know? And I never would have remembered to do that if it weren't for past me writing down the idea. So that's really cool. And I think that if you don't do that kind of thing already, then you should. Similar to that piece of advice, I would suggest that you journal. And again, journaling doesn't have listen, I feel like people really tend to take journaling too seriously. And I just want to say that if you do like things with a lot of structure and stuff, and you would enjoy a really strict and like structured journal or diary, then go for it, go for it. But for the people who aren't like that, then I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. No one is expecting you to journal in a super organized or formal way. No one's expecting your freaking diary to have super deep, philosophical, profound entries. You could literally write anything. Recently, my girlfriend has been getting into morning pages. And if you don't know what a morning page is, it's basically the first thing you do when you wake up, before you go on your phone, before you use the bathroom. You just fill up a page in your journal and you write anything. It can be like, hey, so these are some of the things that happened yesterday, or these are the things that I'm worried about facing today. Just like anything. The goal is to just fill up a page with writing. That's it. I'm currently on day 747, I think. And it's helped. And sometimes I would read my past entries and be like, wow, I was really going through it. I just find that really fun. Yeah. But anyways, recently I convinced my girlfriend to start doing that too, because they've also been thinking of like getting into that kind of thing, having a bit of a routine, something they can do every day. So obviously I suggested that. And they shared with me one time they filled up half a page of their morning page and they didn't know what else to write, so they just started listing song lyrics. And I was like, hell yeah, like no one's stopping you from doing that. A morning page is a morning page. A journal entry is a journal entry. And yeah, similar to that advice, I want to say you don't have to take things too seriously. And if you're an artist, this is especially for you. Okay, if you're an artist, I don't believe in art school. I'm sorry. I mean, it can help people. I know that, especially in terms of connections, stuff like that. But I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the things that you learn in art school, you can learn through freaking YouTube. You know what I mean? But that I'm not saying that going to an art school is stupid, because I know that a lot of people do get a lot from art school. Although I do think that it's more up to the individual's commitment to the school. Does that make sense? It's like, yes, the school will offer you these things, but unless you really make use of them, unless you devote yourself to these lessons, then it's not going to be worth it, man. It's not going to be worth it. That's not what I was going to say, though. I was saying that don't take things too seriously, especially if you're an artist. And especially if you're an artist who's going to art school, like to study your specific field of art. I need to yawn. Give me a second. Oh. Okay, so for some context, I make music, right? And that sounds really cringy to say. I'm sorry. Every time I say that, I feel like a SoundCloud rapper. But yeah, I produce music. Everything I learned is like either self-taught or community taught. I learned that term from another YouTuber, like artist YouTuber. I forgot their name. I'm so sorry. But instead of saying that they're a self-taught artist, they said they're a community-taught artist, because the people in their community, those were that artist mentors. That's where they learned the ropes of everything. And I thought that was really cool. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm like a self-taught / community-taught music producer. And when I was in my senior year of high school, and I was filling in college applications, picking courses and majors and shit, I was really considering taking music prod for for college. And then I thought, fuck, this is gonna ruin me. This is gonna ruin me. And the reason I thought that is because if I had someone else telling me what counts as good music and bad music, or what makes my own compositions good or bad, I wouldn't like producing music anymore. Like, I wouldn't. Like, I'm sorry. Learning about the history of music production, could it be valuable? Yes, of course. Would it be useful? Less so, but maybe. But when it comes down to it, like, I knew in my nuggets that if I took up music production and I had to take this artistic passion of mine seriously in a way that's very how do you say this, like corporate, like they teach you how to be a music producer but not for yourself. Does that make sense? It's like how to thrive in the music industry, how to be a good music producer for other people, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, if you're doing it for the bag, for the money, then honestly, all power to you. But yeah, I knew myself enough to just know that if I even if I chose something like writing, because I really love writing, I love literature and stuff, but I knew that if I took up English literature, for example, for my undergrad, and people would tell me read this and this by this date and this date, and then write like this, then write like that. If I constantly had to deal with that stuff, then I would hate writing forever. I would hate reading too. And I don't want to lose my love for the things that I'm so passionate about, you know? And yeah, I just feel like, I've talked about this before in other videos, but I do think that art is so fluid and so subjective that it's not something that can be taught. Like, it can be taught, okay? It can be taught, but being taught in a way, in like a curricular way, then it's like, would it help? Yes, it could. It definitely could benefit students. But I think that method wouldn't really bring out amazing, one of the kind artists, you know? But hey, that's just me. So yeah. Do I have other pieces of advice? I have other pieces of advice. My next piece of advice is be kind to people and stop. I know that sounds really cheesy. I'm sorry, but I don't know. Okay, like it's very basic. It's pretty self-explanatory. But here's the thing. I do believe that respect is earned. Like, I don't think that you should automatically just respect someone so blindly just because, for example, they're older than you, you know? Or, for example, if someone's a relative or a family member, then no matter how they treat you, you need to respect them. I don't believe in that stuff. However, I do believe that you owe people, like, kindness. Mostly strangers, actually. I'm actually referring to strangers because, you know what people say, everyone's going through something, and just smiling at a service worker being like, thank you, and stuff. Or, for example, like, okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I only really thought about this stuff ever since I got into like the hospitality industry, food and beverage industry, whatever you want to call it, because that's when I really understood. Not that I didn't have empathy towards service workers before that, but that's when I really that's when I really experienced what it's like being on the other side of things. Prior to that, I was the kid who would sort of like hide themselves if one of my parents was like arguing with the waiter, because like I don't I want to be associated with that, because why are you arguing with the 19-year-old server? But yeah, anyways. And as someone who works in the hospitality industry, I cannot emphasize it enough how nice it is when a customer is nice to you. You know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like people are naturally nice. I feel like it's sort of wired in our human system to be nice to fellow humans, or at least not be so mean. But the way people are nice to service workers, the way customers have been nice to me, it just hits different, you know? Like, for example, maybe we don't have enough change and the customer is like, oh, don't worry, you want me to like, do you want me to use Gcash or something else? It's like, oh yeah, it's fine. Or I would ask like, again, we wouldn't have enough change because we never really have enough change. And I would say, hey, do you have 5 pesos? And the customer would be like, no, but stay right there. I'll get some in my car. I'd be like, I don't know, like the little things like that. It's so nice. Or, for example, there's a rush and you're like, hey, sorry for waiting, something, something. And they're like, oh, no problem. Take your time. Like, it seems like such a small gesture. And maybe it is a small gesture to them, but it really is a huge relief to service workers. Like, trust me. At the same time, I don't know, just compliment people more. People are always talking about free will and stuff, like, oh, good use of free will. It's like, I remembered I have free will, so I can do this and that. Use your free will to be freaking nice to people. I don't know why, but every time I say stuff like that, it feels like, it doesn't feel performative, but I feel like it would look performative. And if it does, then I'm sorry, it's not performative. But now that I'm saying that it's not performative, I feel like I'm just planting more seeds of doubt in you. So yeah, whatever. I actually kind of learned this from my younger brother. I know his age. He's like 16 or something. He's 16. Wait, I need to yawn again. It was like a while back, but he would tell me that, he would be like, hey, whenever you see someone with like a cool outfit, do you compliment it? And I'm like, no, not usually. He's like, you know what, we should do that more. It's like we can do that, right? And he would share his stories of like going up to random people and being like, hey, your pants are so cool. And sometimes they would be caught off guard. Other times they would be like, oh my God, thank you. And then sometimes they would just sort of be like, but either way, it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's cool. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel nice. And it's nice to feel nice by being nice. I feel like a crazy person right now. I feel like I'm not making any sense. I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense. But yeah. Piggybacking off. No, I don't know what the phrase is. I'm not American. To piggyback off of what I was just saying. Don't be so angry all the time. I'm sorry. That's way easier said than done. But, and listen, trust me, I know what it's like to be ruled by things like frustration and anxiety, because I was unmedicated. I had unmedicated anxiety for probably all my life until recently. He squeezed me. So I know what it's like to always be like, yeah. But after being medicated, and after getting on meds, I sort of had some realizations, and I chilled down. I just chilled down. And there's no step-by-step to this. I'm gonna be honest, there is no step-by-step to this. Actually, let me take a little detour. Let me do a little side quest. I want to tell you, do not get so invested in self-help books, especially those non-fiction self-help books like Atomic Habits, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Don't even get me started on the 48 Laws of Power. But yeah, do they hold valuable lessons? Yes, you can get good lessons from them. You can get good tips, good advice from books like that, from media like that. However, I feel like they just, como se dice, they explain it. They explain. No, wait, let me rephrase that. They hand you life advice in the form of like a bullet point list. It's like, to do this, first you got to do that, and then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do that, and then this, and then you're going to be a good person. And maybe, obviously that's hyperbole, like it's deeper than that, obviously, in the books. But when you think about it, it's all pretty surface level. I'm telling you right now, it's all pretty surface level. And it's all pretty common sense. Just like the things that I'm saying. Like, at least I'm aware of it. So yeah, don't invest so much in those self-help kind of stuff. Because I'm going to be honest, a lot of it's just you. Just you and you. Just you and you. What I mean by that is, people will always give you advice. You're always going to get advice from other people. But not all of it is going to work. Okay? And the reason for that is because you're not those people. You're not the same. You're not exactly the same as the people who are giving you this kind of advice. And even if they say they're like medical experts or like psychologists or life coaches or whatever else kind of certified kind of person, no one is gonna know how to help you more than yourself. Okay? Well, maybe if you're like mentally troubled, then I would say that a psychiatrist or a psychologist would know how to treat you. But in terms of how to live your life, how to max out your potential and stuff like that, you have the answer to that. Okay? And maybe it doesn't, maybe me saying that will make you feel like me, because like, I get that, the reason you're looking for advice is because you don't have the answers yourself. But the thing is that I feel like, I'm gonna sound like a crazy person when I say this, but I feel like there's you and then there's you. Stay with me. What I mean by that is, sometimes I would ask myself questions. I talk to myself a lot, not out loud, but there's always an ongoing conversation in my head. And I think that everyone has an ongoing conversation with themselves in their head. But I can't be sure. But anyways, yeah. Ask yourself questions. Things like, next time you do something, ask, why do I do this? And I'm not talking about stupid shit like take a shower or eat. It's like, why do I eat? It's like, 'cause you're freaking hungry. Like, be serious. What I mean by that is, next time you force yourself to go out to an event, even though you don't want to, ask yourself, like, why do I do this? Like, what is my goal here? It's like, have I always been like this? Did this start after a specific incident or something? What caused me to have this belief? Same thing when it comes to your beliefs, like, for example, this targeted. Actually, no, it's not targeted, but I feel like someone could get targeted. If you were to look at a person who's different from you, let's say you're a straight person. I doubt you're a straight person, but let's say you're a straight person and you see a gay couple out in public, a very obviously queer couple out in public, and you think, ew. Like, ask yourself, why do I think ew? Why do I find that disgusting? And then you really think about it. Like, are these people bothering anyone? No. Are they doing anything wrong? No. Like, so what is it about these people that disturbs me so much? And then maybe you're gonna start thinking back, peeling back the layers, and you'll think, oh, it's because my super religious conservative parents taught me to be disgusted in these things. Like, they literally told me this is disgusting. And this is my experience. This is my experience, you know. And I would think about it, and before that belief was instilled in me, I cannot recall a single instance where I found homosexuality to be disgusting, or I never recalled feeling disturbed by this kind of stuff. It only happened after other people told me to feel this way about this certain thing. And again, you can apply this to anything. You know, ask yourself questions. And most importantly, ask yourself what would help you. Because you know the answer to that, okay? I swear. And again, this isn't going to apply to everyone, which is also an advice, you know. Never take other people's advice too seriously. If you have to, bend it backwards, snap it in to mold it so that other people's advice can be applied to yourself. So it can be something that would actually help you. I really feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Like, I feel like I'm not making sense. I had a pretty long day today. Woke up at 6 a.m., drove my brother to school, went back home, conked out for a few hours, woke up, and then headed into the city because I live in the suburbs. Headed to the city, got coffee, saw my girlfriend, came back home. Excuse me. But yeah, tomorrow I have a therapy session, then work. But tomorrow I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee. It's going to be good coffee because I just descaled my coffee machine. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that cup of coffee. I always look forward to my cup of coffee in the morning. Like, no matter what's going on, I think I'm going to have a cup of coffee tomorrow. Sorry. Anyways, I have more to say. I think it's obvious that I have more to say, but my body can't keep up with my mind anymore because I'm so sleepy. So that's all from me for tonight, and I apologize if I didn't make any sense. But then again, that's on you for expecting valuable advice from a weirdo. But yeah, no hate to you. You know, thank you for watching, actually. Like and subscribe. I'm kidding. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do anything I say. Reverse psychology. Sorry, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's all from me for tonight. Be a good person. Make good art. Eat good food. I hope the people in your life are kind to you. And I hope that you are kind to the people in your life. Okay, bye.